Good early Monday morning, rather. It is now Monday, December 9th, 2019. Somehow I'm up in the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep, so here I am. Um, First of all, the Jets may have won today. They beat Miami by a measly point, you know, in a game which, first of all, last year they wouldn't have won. With this, I am no proponent of this challenging or, reviewing of pass interference. I am no proponent of it. You know, I mean, it really should be let's get the call correct the first time. I mean, a win today. I mean, yeah, 22-21, great. When we desperately needed. The Jets have actually won now 4 of their last 5 games. Unfortunately, it's a little too late, as the Jets were officially mathematically eliminated from any playoff contention. But at this point, it was inevitable. Why? Well, you look at, what happened last week in Cincinnati, and I think I speak for many Jet fans when I said we were afraid of that. We were afraid of what what was going to happen in Cincinnati happened, that the Jets were going to let the winless Bengals beat them. Not only did those winless Bengals beat them, the Jets barely even showed up to play. So when you look back at how the season ended, you're going to look back at, the 16-point lead against Buffalo that the Jets blew, but you know what, la-di-da, that we didn't know what the Buffalo Bills would become. We didn't know they'd become this 9-14 right now. We didn't know that. But the other things you could point to is the Jets playing down to lesser competition. Losing to Miami when they were 0-7. Losing that game where, any good team, shuts the door on them. Losing last week to Cincinnati, as aforementioned, where they, so right now 6-7 versus 5-8 is actually a big difference. But theoretically, had the Jets taken care of business of those 2 games, they'd be 7-6 right now. 1 game outside of a wild card spot. And that game versus Pittsburgh in a couple of weeks really would have meant something. But nonetheless, that's what you're just gonna look back at. Yeah, the team was plagued with injuries. Mosley, Avery Williamson, Le'Veon Bell had the flu today, but I know he is no Adam Gase favorite. I mean, Bilal Powell saw a decent amount of action today. And Bilal Powell, he's been with us now, 9 years now? It's his 9th season. He's very underused. He's actually a decent running back. He's very decent. He's just often underused. So, he was used a lot stronger. He was used a bunch, being that he was the starter. Him and Ty Montgomery, splitting the reps, here and there. But you got to give that. Ryan Griffin, our emerging tight end, who we just signed to an extension, he went out with an injury. No Le'Veon, no Jamal Adams. President Mull, we didn't have him because he injured his ankle last week in Cincinnati, and somehow played through it. I mean, now with the Jets eliminated from the playoffs, is it really worth bringing all those guys back to play it out for the final 3 games? Is it? You're going to get crapped on in Baltimore on Thursday night. You got Pittsburgh, you got Buffalo. All, as of right now, would be playoff teams. So for them, it's like playing the Jets is an easy part of their schedule, right? So for all us fans that said, oh, once the second Patriot game was done, oh yeah, we've got it so easy. Well, it seems like those teams, right, saw the Jets as, hey, we can beat those guys. We lost to the Jaguars. Before the Jaguars went to a second straight year of, So I don't know how Doug Marone's job security is over there, but you gotta. So I mean, listen, Adam Gase, he's gonna be with the team next year. Very unpopular. Considering everything and all the controversies, from his rolling eyes to the roster and the power struggle he had with Mike McCagnon, and how he won that power struggle is just ridiculous. But that starts with the Johnson brothers, who don't know anything about ownership. But anyway, yeah. So today's game, today's game should never have come down to a last second field goal. It should never have come down to that. It should never have come down to a pass interference review. It should not, it shouldn't have come to all that. I mean, the Jets defense did a good job keeping Miami out of the end zone, but 22-21, those 21 points on Miami were all by field goals. And the kicker missed one too. So, and then you have the Jets, who, got a couple in the end zone there. Robbie Anderson. Anderson had a big game today, 7 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Probably could have had another, if Sam didn't miss his receivers, because Robbie Anderson was using his speed, and Miami has an inexperienced secondary. A couple of them were undrafted guys, and Anderson was beating these guys. It's just Sam always, yeah. There was one play with Darnold there late in the third quarter where, he had a naked bootleg and just get the first down on a 3rd and 1. And he said he tries to throw to Crowder in the end zone, and Crowder didn't catch it, and they decided to go for it on 4th and 1, and Bilal Powell gets stuffed big time. Well worth the risk, but at the same time, it's like, take the points, But nonetheless, another thing that was killing the Jets that gave Miami points was penalties. Quinnen Williams, I think it was Miami's opening drive of the game. Yeah, Miami's opening drive of the game. The Jets punted it all the way to the 3-yard line. And on 3rd down from about Miami's own 35-yard line, it looks like they have the running back, I forget his name, down for a loss, a big loss, and then whoops, there's a flag, face mask on that same, Quinnen Williams grabbing the face mask as a said player. 15 yards, continue the drive. Miami eventually marched down, kicked the field goal. 3 points given. There was one later in the game. So, a very questionable roughing the passer on Nathan Shepard. It was a flag. And then, Dolphins kicked the field goal later in the game. So the Jets shot themselves in the foot a couple times where in the game they probably just should have put away. But like I said, I mean, what does it matter now? Obviously, they're eliminated from the playoffs. But hey, they cracked that 4-win, thing. Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah. So it's just there were good things. It's just the receivers did Sam no favor early on with the drops that they had. Demaryius Thomas had a couple of them. It was just, it wasn't the best effort in a win. Like I said, I didn't like winning how we did today. I didn't, controversial pass interference. It was the right call. Okay, the guy interfered with Vincent Smith. But, I mean, I hate to see a game come down to that. So yeah. Oh boy. So, I mean, what else is there out there with the Jets? They got nothing much to look forward to, next year. One thing's for sure, their schedule won't be as spoiled. I mean, they'll actually leave the Eastern time zone, something they haven't done all season long, that they haven't been scheduled outside of the Eastern time zone. And then, next year they've got to go to the West like 4 times. 2 LA teams, Seattle and San Francisco. No, not San Francisco. 2 LA teams, Seattle, and I forget who. But anyway, back to that Cincinnati game, real quick, if I may. Like, here's the thing with the Jets. They often play down to lesser teams. This started back in 2015 with Buffalo. The play, win and you're in the playoffs. Buffalo not playing for anything, resting some of their main core, and the Jets didn't get it done. lost, eliminated. And ever since then, it's just been that way where the Jets play down to lower competition and then they take them for granted and then they lose. You look at 2017, you look there, they had a nice Thursday night win over Buffalo, 10-day layoff. They go to Tampa Bay, play like crap against the crappy Buccaneers and lose. The following month, they had a big win over Kansas City, quite an upset. Following week, they go to Denver, who had lost 8 in a row, and get shut out 23-0. You had them against Cleveland last year. Okay, the Browns, who hadn't won since the Civil War, basically. You know, Jets had a 14-0 or 14-3 lead in the game, lost 21-17. Cleveland got their first win in, how long? That's the Jets playing to lower competition. And then you had this year, with the Miami game, the first one, and then Cincinnati, lower competition, taken for granted. So anyway, yeah. So that's the Jets. It's been this way since bowls. You play teams worse than you, but then you go and play down to the level thinking, oh, we got this, and then they don't, and then they're the ones who wear red on the face. Anyway, so that being said, anything else to bring up tonight? Yeah, the Jets won. How the state of being of the Jets right now. Hmm, I guess that's it. I'm tired. I can barely even think. That being said, I'm going to head out for now, get some shut eye, right? Deuces.